I'm Tiffany, and welcome to Thriving in Christian Singleness, where I hope that you will be encouraged, inspired, and operating fully in your God-ordained purpose. We're going to start a series called, Am I Causing My Own Frustration? Today will be part 1 of the 3-part series, where we'll be talking about your input. Your input is anything you're seeing, hearing, or otherwise exposed to that can start to cause you a little bit of discontentment in this season. For example, whatever you're looking at on social media, are you looking at accounts where they're talking about marriage and success and it's got you discontent in this season? Or maybe it's something you're listening to, whether that's the movies that you stream, etc. I'm going to give you an example. For me, I like to relax listening to neo-soul music, which is that perfect combination of rhythm and blues and jazz, and it really calms me down. But one day I started to realize I'm a little discontent with my singleness, and I began to pray about it. And I thought, hey, what are you listening to? And I realized that same rhythm and blues and jazz that once calmed me down is a little too romantic for me to listen to in this season. So I stopped listening to it just for a little while. Sometimes you can stop doing something for a season, and other times, maybe you want to commit to letting it go. Maybe you're unsure with where to start to try to identify if perhaps you're the root of some of the frustration that you're feeling of discontentment in this season. Why don't you think about what you've been streaming lately? If you get home from work and you start looking at rom-coms and love dramas, films about breakups and other intense emotions, perhaps you can pray about it and see if that's something you need to put down for this season. Some people decide to put things down for a season when stress is happening and other things. And sometimes you may commit to, hey, this is not what I need, and I'll just put it down altogether. Another place to check is your social media. Are you looking at pages and pages and screens of people being married and happy and showing you those beautiful aspects of marriage? And you're not looking at anything about singles, which is the season that you're finding yourself in. That could be another place where you need to change the algorithm and start liking other things. Perhaps you've been on YouTube and going down that rabbit hole of how to find a spouse or how to be a godly husband or godly wife. Maybe you should start looking at content about other singles because that is the season that you're in. Next, why don't you check what people are saying to you? Now, people usually have the best intentions when they give you even unsolicited advice. But sometimes it can cause us pain and they have no idea. I'm guilty of that as well. For example, there's this phrase in Christianese that we say to singles, chase God, and while you're chasing God, that's when your spouse will come. Have you ever thought about those people that are chasing God every day, operating in their purpose, starting ministries, serving in the church, being successful in their careers, and they still don't have their spouse yet? They've read the Bible backwards and forwards 5 times, no spouse. Imagine how that might make them feel. Now, we cannot control what other people say to us, but we can, however, decide what we choose to take home with us, what we internalize and make it our story or our truth, or something that we want to wrestle with God. If you identify with any of these examples, hit that like button below. In fact, I want you to type out in the comments what it is that's causing your frustration in the singleness, or has once caused you frustration in your singleness. We're all in this together. Let's establish community and encourage each other. You'll realize you're not alone. So let's talk about that sneaky snake piece of input that you have. What are you saying to yourself? Are you using those always and never terms? I'm never chosen. I'm always going to be single. God doesn't care about marriage for me. I rebuke that in Jesus' holy name. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell. And do you realize you might be causing your own discontentment because you're the loudest voice in your head at times? Friend, love yourself enough not to add to your own pain. Sometimes self-love looks like telling ourselves no. This week, I want you to be reflecting on your input, including your own self-talk. All right, this concludes for today. Look out for part 2 by hitting that notification bell, and see you next time, Thriver.